Hey everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. It is Thursday morning, and I tell you, this week, Meghan, we've just seen her popularity plummet to just below 20%. It's been not a great week for her, and we see her just as Meghan always does, scrambling for relevance, and now we have some new revelations about their relationship with Brooklyn Beckham and his wife Nicola Peltz. Now, Brooklyn Beckham is the son of David and Victoria Beckham, him of soccer fame, her of Spice Girls, and they've been friends with Harry and Meghan for years and years and years. Not well, Harry and Meghan, sorry, Harry and William. Um, Victoria and David were at William and Catherine's wedding. Now they also attended Harry and Meghan's, but it was a bit of a snub. They were invited to the ceremony, to the service in the church, but not to the reception afterwards with the friends and everything. So that was a little bit irksome for the Beckhams. I mean, we know that Victoria is very conscious of her position, and they've gone from sort of rock star and footballer to ease their way into the life of David's playing the role of a country gentleman, in between his work and assignments, and he's still making bank. But he's doing bees and honey, and this has developed his relationship with the king. They've bonded over beekeeping and stuff. Victoria, of course, has Victoria Beckham designs her fashion house, which, I mean, they say over the years that David has sunk about $10 million into it to keep it going. It's kind of a vanity project of hers, but nonetheless, she's doing okay. People are wearing her designs. She is well respected, and even this week, in a show, I think, to support for the Beckhams, Catherine was she was present to give an award at some London fashion event, and what she wore was a Victoria Beckham suit, wide leg pants. Oh my gosh, she knows how to wear a suit. You look at her and look at Meghan side by each, and I mean, there's no comparison. And even though that suit was in the worst color invented by man, she still looked flawless. And it was a wave of support to Victoria for wearing that at a fashion event. So you kind of know where alliances and loyalties line. So over the years, David has maintained a relationship with William. He's developed a relationship with the king, and some will say, it's because David Beckham is just, he wants a knighthood, an MBE or whatever, OBE, whichever one it is. That's what he wants, that kind of recognition. So he's willing to do the brown nosing to get it. You know, they are kind of, the Beckhams are, they're always seeking highest ground. Let's just put it that way. But I mean, Meghan and Harry, since they got married, since that initial snub, there's a lot of animosity that have developed between the Beckhams and the Sussexes. Because basically, you could argue at least Victoria's got some talent. She's got something behind her, and she does work they're very much the same kind of women. They're both obsessed with the optics of things, how it looks. Victoria Beckham always looks impeccable. Meghan can't even pull off anyway, but brush your hair, something, you know. But they both have egos the size of planets, right? So it's not a good mix to beginning. And Meghan always saw a threat with Victoria because, I mean, you gotta, when she came into the family, okay, she was marrying the prince, and then they were put up in, what was it, Nottingham Cottage on the estate of Kensington Palace. That's it. Yeah, Harry was living in the little cottage, which Kate and William had lived in, which I think uh, Eugenie and Beatrice shared at one point. Everybody lived in there at some point. And I think Meghan, when she came into the royal family, she had very high expectations of where they might be living and the kind of money that she might have access to, this kind of thing. I think she was surprised. She didn't realize the state of Harry's position and this kind of thing. So from the beginning, she saw a threat with him. And over the years, Harry's tried to maintain the relationship with David. He showed up at some point to support David in something he was doing. I forget what it was. And to reciprocate, David was going to be showing up. This was quite a few years ago, there was a charity, I think it was for Centibelli, polo match in South Africa that Harry had invited David to come along. And so David dutifully, it's nothing for these guys to just jet off to South Africa to support his friend. Well, he gets there, and Harry apparently just ghosts him, won't meet him, won't have any, doesn't want any pictures taken with David. And you get down to the bottom of the story, and what you discover is Meghan was behind it. She didn't want Harry to appear with David in photographs because it was basically David's, even a bigger celebrity pretty much, in that he would be stealing Harry's thunder. You don't want another celebrity in the shot, basically. So Meghan was behind that. And that kind of a snub is something that David's really never gotten over. I mean, it's really put a bad taste in his mouth since then. And over time and stuff like this notwithstanding, the Sussex's behavior towards the royal family has, like it has with a lot of people, really soured the Beckons' attitude towards Harry and Meghan. In the meantime, the Beckhams have always maintained their relationship with William and Kate, and they're cozying up, to the king. David is. And, well, and you say, well, David and Victoria Beckham and their kids, and what's this got to do with bloody anything? Well, it is important because you're seeing in real time Meghan weaving a narrative, inserting herself in it, and kind of setting a trap. Now, little background: Brooklyn Beckham married Nicola Peltz. She is the daughter of a very, very wealthy billionaire that they have a big compound in Florida. Her father is 80 something now. He's an older guy. She stands to inherit a lot, I suppose. I don't think she's a single sibling. I don't know too much about him. But anyway, now, for reasons unknown, because Nicola and Brooklyn have been kind of distancing themselves from Victoria and David. Most recently, David Beckham's 50th birthday celebrations that lasted over a week in a couple of continents. Well, the Peltz Beckhams were nowhere in attendance. He was snubbed by his son. And, this makes news. Well, when you get right from the beginning, I mean, right at the wedding, Nicola's wedding and the whole thing, um, there's been a clash of personalities between the women since the beginning, and here's the thing. Nicola is a family of billionaires. Victoria would love to be a billionaire. I mean, Victoria and David bought a yacht so that they could moor it in Florida, so when they're down there with the Peltzes, I think they bought a big home in Florida too. Is it keeping up appearances? They need a $50 million yacht just to be able to go out there on the afternoon if they happen to be in Florida, because the in-laws are, it's one of those kind of thing, keeping up appearances. This whole thing has to do with Victoria and Nicola's egos, really. I mean, what do you say? Victoria, she's what, almost 50 now too. She's, trying to compete with a 20-year-old, 20 something. Never gonna happen. So, that's what it is with them. Now, what does all of this have to do with Harry and Meghan? Well, it seems we now know the history of Victoria, David, and the Sussexes, and how there's been a rift and distance between them and bad feelings. Well, Meghan saw this incident with the young kids estranged from the elder from their parents, Victoria and David, right? So she pokes her nose in. What a better way to insert yourself into a situation that's all over the public eye right now. So apparently she's gotten in touch, and her and Harry have offered their support to to the Beckham-Peltzs, to Nicola and Brooklyn. Can't even keep the bloody names straight. I don't know these people, but yeah, so they've offered their support. Like, what do they have to do with anything? And what this does, I mean, it sends a signal to the Beckhams. You won't have anything to do with us anymore. Well, you can't get rid of us. She's inserting herself like a parasite right into their family situation. Apparently, they've exchanged phone numbers, and sources say that they've had them to a dinner party at their house in Montecito, and they're just cozying up to them because Meghan recognizes a story when she sees one, so she's gonna insert herself into that, you know and she also knows that publicly, when it comes out that they're siding with the billionaires, like, it's gonna interfere, like, she's gonna really put it to Victoria. Unbelievable. She thinks she's got some kind of influence. Holy moly. If Nicola and Brooklyn speak to her parents at all about Meghan and Harry, I'm sure they can see see that a mile away, they'll say, stay away from that, guys. You don't want to get tangled with these two. It's a nightmare, you know. But this siding with the youngsters against David and Victoria is a huge snub to the Beckhams, and also, by extension, to William and Kate. And I mean, like I said, we just saw this week Kate's support for Victoria wearing the suit at the fashion awards. And, you know, this relationship and letting it publicly be known, you know, it's stated that, oh yeah, they got in touch with him because they really feel bad about them, and it kind of mirrors their own story and being estranged by their own families. And I mean, it's just, it's embarrassing. I hope somebody gives Nicola and Brooklyn some good counsel to stay away from these guys, you know? Because, like, when you boil it all down, it has nothing to do with Meghan and Harry saying, oh, you know, we really feel for these guys, want to help them. Nothing to do with that. When you boil it down, it's elementary school playground posturing. It's one-upmanship. It's one-upmanship. You know? Meghan's just trying to turn the screws on Victoria and David. Well, you won't have anything to do with us. We're going to cozy up to your kid. You know, she's just bloody evil. It's just terrible. But, you know, and we know Meghan. It's not even, she doesn't care about Nicola and Brooklyn Beckham. She doesn't care about them as people. She cares about the publicity, and what she cares about is Nicola's 80-year-old father is a billionaire, and those are the people she wants to cozy up with. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if we'll see it happen, but we'll hear about the possibility. Wouldn't Meghan just covet an invitation to the compound in Florida? Can you imagine? That's what she's after. She wants to sit at the table of the billionaires. She doesn't care about the kids, but that's a way to turn the screws on people that they have gripes with, you know. So this is just more of Meghan inserting herself where she needn't be, inserting herself where she doesn't belong. Nobody needs her input. She's a parasite. Her and Harry, they're just parasites. And Nicola and Brooklyn Beckham are just their latest victims. Just their latest victims. That's what I'm thinking. I'd love to know what you think. Like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, everybody.